The tea is hot. So I opened the MLS today to see what the new drops were, and I got a little notification. There's some news. So this is the news. If you look at bulletin number 2, it says that compensation is going to be moved off of the MLS. So basically that says on a property, you're not going to be able to see how much compensation is offered to the buyer's agent. Why is that important? Well, now when we show a house, we will have to get with the listing agent first and find out what the compensation is, just like person to person, and listing agents don't always answer the phone. The buyer can't put an offer on a house if they don't know how much money they may or may not have to pay their agent. In the buyer agency agreement, it says how much the buyer agent is supposed to be paid. So some of them say, 2%, 2.5%, 3%, whatever they put in there. And it states in the agency agreement that the buyer will have to cover the difference between what the seller is offering and the buyer agency amount. So now the problem is a buyer may or may not know whether they have to pay their agent or not. So we have to figure out that information first. We have to negotiate every commission. Now I'm wondering, is the listing agent going to be able to discriminate against certain agents or certain companies and offer them less compensation than another company? What if a client wants to see a house and I call the listing agent to see how much compensation they're offering me, and the listing agent doesn't answer, and the buyer wants to see the house? So I'm like, all right, well, we'll go look at it. So then we go look at the house. I come to find out later that they're not offering me any compensation. So then I talk to the buyer, and the buyer isn't willing to pay me any compensation either. So now I just work for free now? Every other job has a minimum wage, but this one. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be rough. Now listing agents are gonna have to answer the phone because we're gonna have to figure out some other way what the compensation is, because I don't want my buyers to not know how much they're gonna possibly owe or not owe. Usually I don't charge my buyers anything, because I know going into it, every single house we look at on the MLS has some kind of compensation. 3%, 2%, 1%. It really doesn't matter to me, and I'm cool with taking lower compensation. I'm not cool with taking zero compensation. So I guess it's just gonna be a lot of double checking. Interesting this morning.